Hey there you guys, it's Irene Lyon here. Welcome to this video, to this YouTube channel, and also to this world of healing trauma, the nervous system, health of the nervous system, and all things neuroplasticity. I am Irene Lyon. Welcome if you're new here. Thank you for continuing to be here. If you've been following me for quite some time, I appreciate it. I wanted to just pop in here while I'm filming this for YouTube. You might be seeing this in one of my Facebook groups, maybe on my Facebook feed. And we've done some changes within some of our Facebook groups over the last little while. I'm gonna date this. It is spring of 2019, and I want to speak specifically to my Healthy Nervous System Revolution Facebook group. Now, this group started about, I think, maybe 3 years ago, and it has grown substantially over the last few years. We've got over 20,000 members in that group. And I want to talk about the origins of that group, what's been occurring in that group, and why I want to keep the group, but we have to restructure it so that we can keep it. And I've watched groups that have grown really quick in the past, groups that I've been in, completely shut down and stop because the moderators, I guess you could say the person managing it, it becomes too much. And I don't want to close that group down. I want to keep it going. So for those of you who are part of that group and are still there and aren't really sure why we've had to change things, this is an explanation essentially to give you kind of some intel, history, and what I see as the next sort of revolution of this group. So when we started this, it was in a way to help my audience, you guys, interested folks who wanted to work with me, discuss my healing trauma video training. I will post a link of that below, but basically that video training started up a few years ago, and it was a 3-part series. It still is a 3-part series to describe the nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, what the fight, flight, freeze response is, what trauma even is, how trauma gets stuck in the body, the different kinds of trauma, and then the consequences of having unresolved traumatic stress in our nervous system, in our organ systems, essentially in our life. And then in that training, I let people know about the work that I do, how I run my business, how I help people, my online programs. So that group started as a point to sort of discuss these topics, these videos, and also ask questions about the work that I do and that I provide to the globe. So we started that way, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing, and we became kind of this hub for nervous system education, and it still is. And people were able to post questions and ask about various things. And what has happened in that group is that while we still discuss and have education, and I post my articles and vlogs and all that, we are getting so many questions, which are great. It shows that people, your interest in the nervous system, the physiology, how trauma gets trapped, you're interested, you're hungry, you're thirsty for it, and you want answers. We're getting to a point now, or we got to a point where over the course of, let's say, 3 days, we would have over 40 questions that me and my team have to answer. And they're all valid questions. They're all, nothing is wrong with the questions, but a lot of the questions are the same question. And that's for good reason. And it's because this idea of trauma being trapped in the nervous system and the nervous system being dysregulated and, I like to say, out of whack, this is really important news because chronic illness, mental illness, relationship problems, how we attune to our children, all of this stuff is related and has a link to nervous system health. So for good reason, people are interested. But because of the similarities of the questions, it just wasn't feasible for us to keep answering the same question over and over and over again. So what we want to do is we want to start looking at these common questions. Obviously, if you follow me here on this YouTube channel, there are many answers to those questions within this vlog. I've also got lots of articles that answer those questions. So we're going to keep posting in that group these commonly asked questions, and I want to start answering your questions via YouTube and maybe even via a podcast format. So we're looking at ways that we can create answers to the commonly asked questions and have them be out there in the public, in the social media sphere, and not just within that specific closed Facebook community. But we will keep posting those resources in that community. So back to, again, the purpose of the group was to answer questions around my healing trauma video series, to answer questions around general nervous system questions, that sort of thing. And it just got too big for us to do. And the people that answer the questions, my amazing team, they're paid, they're professionals, they're somatic experiencing practitioners like myself. Many of them are trained therapists, counselors, social workers. So the breadth and the depth of knowledge and experience is huge. And we want to keep bringing that kind of education to you, but in a slightly changed format. How this is exactly going to occur, I'm still figuring it out, right? This work is new. The way that we disseminate this information is new. So thank you for your patience if you're in that group, if you're watching this right now from that group, thank you for your patience. We will try to figure out ways to keep bringing content to you that's fresh and new and answers your questions. The other reason we've had to change that group such that people can't post questions is a lot of the questions were starting to become on the verge of consultation, on the verge of really what should be happening in a client to practitioner relationship, sort of under the guises of certain ethical scope of practice standards. And we were getting questions where people were asking us to, in some ways, diagnose and give them advice on what to do exactly. And while I can do that professionally when I'm working with someone one-on-one or in group where we have that agreement in place, and so same with my colleagues, we can't do that in a social media forum. It is not really what that group was designed for. So bottom line, this group, the Healthy Nervous System Revolution Facebook group, it's designed for education, it's designed for awareness, it's designed for people commenting on the education that's there, maybe asking some simple questions under the current articles and videos and maybe inspirational quotes that we post. But it isn't going to be for long sort of questions about personal process and consultation. So that is sort of where we're at with that group. I want to extend my empathy for those of you that are, wanting your questions answered, and perhaps your situation is unique. And what I would suggest is to look at the programs that I offer that give you more education and also give you practical tools and exercises, because those ways that I offer this online work, in those programs are my moderators, my staff that are in there answering specific questions. So these two programs, namely, are the 21-day nervous system tune-up and my longer program, Smart Body, Smart Mind, that runs once a year in the spring. So again, if you're old and you've been here for a while, or you're not old, but you've been around for a while, you'll know that those programs exist. Maybe you are part of them. If you're brand new and you want some tools and practices and more education that's more in depth, and you want to be able to ask questions specific to your system, then consider joining one of those programs, the two. Or if you are looking to do some one-on-one work, seek out a good somatic experiencing, somatic practitioner, someone who is trauma trained, not just trauma informed, but trauma trained. I'm going to talk about that concept in another video soon to come. So someone who is trauma informed does not necessarily mean they are trauma trained to work with the neurophysiology, the biophysiology of our nervous system and how trauma gets trapped in there and within the organ system. So just to review, quick note, wanted to touch in and just say hello to those of you who might be part of my Facebook group, Healthy Nervous System Revolution. We have grown immensely. The community is amazing, and we're going to keep it within the scope of education and then discussion around those specific education pieces. No longer can we accept posts from members because A, The group has grown too big for us to do that, and B, the questions are often very, very similar, and I want to find a way to answer those questions so that everyone really in the globe, anybody who's on the internet, can get those answers. And then the third reason why we've changed it so that people cannot post individual questions is the questions were getting way too beyond the scope of what we can do in a social media forum. They were getting to be too consultation based stuff, again, that myself and my colleagues, we can do when we're in private practice, but we ethically can't give that kind of advice and consult via that social media medium. So hopefully that's clarified a few things. We're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. My team, we're still on board working and doing this work. You'll find us, however, in the paid programs that I offer, the 21-day nervous system tune-up and Smart Body, Smart Mind that runs once a year in the spring. If you have not gotten on my email list, please do. Email is the best way for me to communicate with all of you. You will get updates on new videos and, of course, new articles and workshops and in-person events that I do. And then finally, if you are watching this on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to this channel, please hit subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know where you are, where you're from, and what you're interested in. Ask a question. Ask me something that you would like to know more about, and maybe I will make a video about it. All right, thank you so much for being here, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take good care. Bye for now.